So episode 5, take 2, because I just recorded the whole episode in this new setup without switching on the microphone, or at least it was on, but it was not recording. So here we go again. So in the previous episode, I explained a little bit about this conversation I had at the Blijfgroep. And certain things did not feel right. I had to defend myself against yet another accusation, false accusation. I explained the technicalities a little bit of the situation, but I left out what these accusations really do to me, like what kind of emotions. Oh, sorry. And it's difficult to come up with these complexities and the intricacies of what it does just on the fly and just on the go. So that's why I also like to add some more structure. I also talked about this particular platform and the vlog or podcast with my good friend Martijn, and he advised me to give it some more structure, so I wrote down some bullet points. So you'll see me looking down every now and then at my laptop. At the same time, I thought like, okay, I can make it a bit more professional, make the sound a bit more professional, put the camera a little bit more farther away from me so my hands are not as big when I do something with my hands, which I thought it was the case when it was just in front of me. Put the video in landscape, also looks a little bit nicer. I also took down episode 2. This was in... I did this after I talked to my friend Tim, because I haven't looked back any of the episodes, but I knew that one was kind of chaotic. I had already felt that when I was recording it. This is something he confirmed, so I thought like, okay, I'll take it down. I'll check it again for myself, see what is in the, what I say in that particular thing, make it into notes, into bullet points. Record it again in this particular setup and have something that I'm actually satisfied with. I'm not going to do that with all of the episodes, obviously, but that one I will do that with. From now on, I'll use this setup though for all the future episodes. So I was very appreciative of the feedback they gave, both from Tim and Martijn. They're both more on a technical level. And if you have any feedback on that particular level, feel free to give me that feedback. I very much appreciate it. I also had a couple of people who reached out to me on an emotional level and giving me support. I also very much appreciate that, so thank you. Yeah, let me just take a sip of water. For my personalized mug. Kudos to my mom. So talking about my mom and parents. This is, by the way, just a coincidence, a jump that I made in my head. When my ex pressed charges, I went to the police and pressed charges against me for minor abuse. My parents received a letter. So this is in 2016. I fled, or no, this is in 2017, sorry. I fled Amsterdam because I was living together with my ex in Amsterdam, and I fled to Rotterdam, where I lived in quite a shithole, together with Pim for a while as well, actually, and so he can concur. But the thing about it was that I couldn't register there for the municipality. And so official mail would go to where I was registered, which was at my parents'. So I received a mail from this particular organization. My mom sent me a picture. I asked her like, okay, can you open it? So she opened it, and then, yeah, she took a picture of the content, and yeah, we both found out basically at the same time that I was being charged with minor abuse by my ex. That was already painful that I did not receive the letter first, and I could take some time to evaluate it and process what was happening to me. But no, I immediately had to deal with it. But yeah, on the other hand, it was also nice that my mom, that I didn't have to go over a threshold to tell my mom. Not that I really have that, because I didn't do anything wrong. So in the letter, it said that it concerned events that had taken place on the 1st of January 2016. So immediately I thought, okay, it's about one particular incident on that particular day, and I really wondered what had happened that day. I didn't know initially. I really nitpicked my brain to think what had happened that day. So we went out somewhere with a couple of my friends, and nothing special had happened. I had asked my friends, like, hey, did you see anything that might have created this idea, or where did she get it from? I don't know. All I knew was that she was mostly making out with one of my other exes that evening, so I was really surprised. And she had a flat tire, so she cycled home on the back of my bike that night, I believe. I don't remember exactly, but it was nothing special. So I arrived at the police station, and then after waiting 2 hours, I found out that it were concerned events after the 1st of January 2016. So I nitpicked my brain for nothing, worried about that particular day for nothing. But that doesn't matter. When you get such a letter, you're gonna be worried either way, I guess. Well, such a false accusation is really horrible. It's already very horrible when you are accused of something which you didn't do. But I think it's even more horrible when you are accused of something that you were the victim of. So when this person that is a terrible, terrible person, by all means, says that the roles were reversed, which makes them even more of a terrible person. I have to live with the fact that I've been abused, and that's fine. I could take that experience and take it into and turn it into something that's better, something for the good. I can write a book about it, and create an experience that people who haven't even been abused can relate to, and use it, make it their own, and become better people. That's my hope. I can help further breaking the taboo around domestic violence, specifically against men. I can do that because of this experience. Without this experience, I couldn't have done that. I mean, it wouldn't have even come up in me to try and do that if I hadn't had that experience. I think it's, to take something bad, turn it into something better is good. Also, because of these experiences, I am the person I am today. And I think I am now where I am because of it. So in some sort of weird way, I'm grateful that this has happened to me. But I cannot happily live with the fact that there is something hanging over my head. Like some sort of the possibility of an accusation raining down on me at any given moment, robbing me of the things that I fought for or that I've acquired, such as voluntary work or a relationship. And with the police, they function in a very simple way. You go, they get a report, and then whomever the report is about, they call this person in and they ask, okay, what's your side of the story? And they send this to the public offender? No, not public offender. I need to look this up, so I'll probably cut this. This is part of the public prosecutor, I remember now. So they sent it to the public prosecutor, and the public prosecutor said, okay, there's a case here or not. And in my case, our case, he said there is no case. So I don't have to go to court. But yeah, regardless of whether you are guilty or not, and depending on the severity of the case or of the report, you'll have to leave certain personal details, such as your fingerprints, mugshots, and so they are now in a police database, my fingerprints and mugshots, for something that I didn't do. So it just doesn't really feel right with me. But yeah, the police is just doing their job. It's not up to them to say, okay, yeah, your story. Well, they can if someone comes with a report and say, and they are obviously lying. They can say like, okay, we're gonna stop this process because you are obviously lying. You're making stuff up. That we're not gonna take on this report and maybe do something else. I don't know. But that wasn't the case. I guess my ex is quite a good liar, so they believed her. Yeah, I was tempted very much to then file a report with the police, saying that she made a false accusation, which is possible. But yeah, then I talked to the police and they advised me not to, because it would be my word against her word, which was also the case, which was the case already. And also because they appealed to a more emotional reason, which is that we are not in touch with each other anymore. I didn't want to have anything to do with her anymore, which is true. And so maybe I should better give it a rest. And yeah, I agreed. And so of course I hope that will be the last of it, but it wasn't. Obviously, because of the developments last week. So when I received word that someone had sent a notification to Blijfgroep, this felt very similar, but I didn't have a clue what it was about. So there was not a letter saying, yeah, this person accused you of this particular thing. Although the letter from the police could have been a bit more clear about when I was accused of this particular thing, or when the abuse supposedly had taken place. So, but again, I was, after the notification or the letter from the Blijfgroep, I was nitpicking my brain, wondering what I might have done wrong. Did a client feel uncomfortable with the way that I treated them, the way that I unclogged their sink? I mean, I don't know. You also interact with these people, of course. You're not coming in, not saying anything. Just do what needs to be done and then go away. You have a little bit of a chat. So maybe I said something wrong, asked the wrong question. That's what I was wondering. Did I look at someone in the wrong way? I don't know. I began to doubt myself. And yeah, I was just constantly wondering, what the hell did I do wrong? Lost some sleep over it, which isn't really me, but yeah, really got up on my nerves. So eventually I was able to get an update about what the notification was about. I contacted the person who organizes the volunteers and is the main point of contact for the volunteers. So logically I contacted her because I sent an email out to the managers, two managers who wanted to speak to me, and didn't receive a word from them at all. And I wanted to know as soon as possible what was going on because I was nervous. Yeah. So I had the actual talk, and I didn't know what to expect because I hadn't heard anything from those two managers yet. And honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if they said like, yeah, this is fairly unfamiliar territory for us as well, because we don't get in these notifications very often from outside of the organization. And yeah, we're just gonna try and do our best to navigate through these uncharted waters. And so to be seated at the table as equals, but that was definitely not the case. I had to defend myself and answer questions such as why I specifically chose the Blijfgroep as a place to do voluntary work. I was like, because I have been a victim of domestic violence. I mean, it's fairly obvious why. I've been doing this for a couple of years already. Not super regularly, but last half year, super regularly, every Friday afternoon. It's so that I can help people who've had to deal with similar things that I've had to deal with. But yeah, so that was weird, really weird for me. And the conclusion that I drew from this is that anyone can simply contact the Blijfgroep and accuse anyone who's in that organization of something, and then enjoy the comfort of anonymity while the show just unfolds internally, and the accused has to defend themselves. Obviously cannot. How can you defend yourself? Like, how can you prove that you're innocent when there's nobody? There was not anyone there from Blijfgroep when I was living together with my ex. I also understand it's my word against hers, but why do I have to defend myself and not her? And yeah, because I worked, by the way, at Blijfgroep. I'm not a volunteer anymore, but I will get into that a little bit later. Afterwards, also another question stuck in my head, which was, why did the Blijfgroep honor the request of the tipper to remain anonymous? To me, this can only be the case when they consider the person who the information is about, how scarce the information may be, is a threat to the tipper. So if I had known who had said this stuff about me, then I would very likely go to this person and do something to them. That's the logic behind anonymity, right? What is the other reason for them to stay anonymous? I have no clue. I mean, if the Blijfgroep did their due diligence and they knew that I had been accused of abuse before, then they should also know that I didn't try to seek revenge after that. So, and then it was obvious who did who accused me of something, because it was not an anonymous tip to the police, because you can't for these kind of cases, for good reason. But yeah, so the mechanics of sending a notification to the Blijfgroep and then this whole thing unfolding, which is fairly predictable, I guess, is some sort of bullying, which you also said in the letter that I sent to the Blijfgroep after we had the conversation. Like, you are facilitating a form of bullying here, an extreme form of victim blaming, because the person who victimized me is now blaming me or blaming me of something that I didn't do, or what I was the victim of. But anyway, there's nothing that I can do to stop this. I just have to suffer the consequences, but I'm not gonna let this come over me and just say, okay, that sucks, Blijfgroep, I understand your reaction, because you have to protect your clients, which is obviously true. They have to. But there is also a line for me, and a border. I have to indicate my borders, because I didn't used to, which is why I got into such a shitty relationship in the first place. That after the conversation, I sent an email saying, like, maybe you should change the protocol so that anonymous people cannot stir up things in your organization. And I also would like an apology, because you didn't tell me what it was about exactly, which made me very worried. and the whole handling of the situation was kind of clumsy, which resulted in emotional distress on my end. And then the response was, no, an apology would be out of place, and we're not going to change the protocol. I was like, okay, then it ends for me here. Which I think is a shame. It's really a shame. On the other hand, I had already thought about approaching the podcast a little bit more seriously, so frees up some time. I could take something bad and turn it into something good. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Excuse me. So in the last episode, I also said that this whole thing wasn't personal. And as much as I like to believe that, and that's still my intention, not to make things personal, I'm not sure whether it's true. Because I cannot ignore like these attacks on my person. Even though there's absolutely nothing I can do about it, or that I'm willing to do about it outside of making a podcast and trying to tell my side of the story. I'm not going to make false accusations or find out wherever my ex is working and sending a message to her work or something, or her voluntary work or whatever. I don't care about her. Like, she could try and do as much damage as she wants. I know that the people that know me, and they will draw their own conclusions when they see such a message. So, but I'm not expecting anything else. I think these are attempts of desperation rather than anything that's really calculated or well thought through. And yeah, she's also debasing herself by doing this. You're lying and deceiving, and that's bad. It's just bad. And it's not stopping me. Most importantly, I guess, I feel more motivated because of it to continue what I'm doing. So I hope I can get more out, widen my reach. We'll see. Thank you for listening, and to see you next time.